welcome to another episode of Dramatic Cookbook Readings. I am your host. Join me as we navigate through the intriguing world of cookbooks. On today's episode, we will once again be going to Cooking for Jeffrey by Ina Garten. Introduction, story anecdote, and then a recipe. I believe it's about kale, I don't know. This one is entitled Help Me. Help Me. This one is entitled Camping Trip. Sometimes it's possible to pinpoint that moment when your thinking about food completely changes. When something as basic as a slice of crusty bread, a piece of runny cheese, or a perfectly ripe peach shows you how delicious the simplest food can be. For me, that moment came in France. How relatable. After the army, Jeffrey decided to study foreign policy at Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies in Washington, D.C. We had 4 months before his last army post in the beginning of school and nothing at all planned. And of course, we had almost no money. At that time, students could buy a round-trip plane ticket from New York to Brussels on Sabina Airline for $99. So we got ourselves 2 tickets and set off on a magical trip that would dramatically alter both of our lives. We bought a tent, sleeping bags, and a small camping gas stove because we knew we couldn't possibly afford to stay in hotels and eat in restaurants. Instead, we planned to buy food at local markets, and I would cook in our tent. Our first stop was Paris, and it was a revelation to me. I had always thought about French food as cuisine, with complicated preparations and slowly simmered sauces. Instead, I discovered French street markets and simple seasonal food that was based on incredibly good ingredients. We bought baskets of caroguet strawberries that tasted like strawberry preserves and ripe peaches that could drip down your arm as you ate them. I'd never tasted anything like that. We'd had a rotisserie chicken for dinner, some fresh tomatoes and runny cheese, and we were good to go. In those days, you couldn't even buy freshly baked bread in the United States, yet every town in France had boulangerie. I'm sorry, I don't speak French. With 4 kinds of baguettes alone. In Paris, I remember going crazy at Poulailler Bakery on Rue Cherche Midi. Again, I don't. And the secret market on Boulevard Raspail. If anyone had told me that decades later I would live near those 2 magical places, I would have thought them insane. The tartines on page 51, made with poulailler bread, salty prosciutto, and wrap camembert, are one of my favorite things to order when we visit Poulailler today. And when I make them for us here at home, it reminds us both of that amazing trip and of how extraordinary simple food can be when it's made with really good ingredients. I thought it was going to be about camping. I was misled. And now, all that talk of French, let's read about kale salad. Kale salad with pancetta and pecorino. Serves 4. Okay. I know there's a rebellion against kale going on. I'm not suggesting you eat it every day, but it has great flavor and it's also so good for you. This is a simple kale salad with garlicky Caesar dressing, warm pancetta, crisp croutons, and spicy pecorino cheese. Adds lots of flavor and crunch. This is what you'll need. 4 anchovy fillets, drained. 1 large garlic clove. 1 tablespoon Dijon mustard. Excuse me. 2 extra large egg yolks at room temperature. 1/3 cup freshly squeezed lemon juice at room temperature. Parentheses. 2 lemons. Kosher salt and freshly ground black pepper. 2/3 cup good olive oil plus extra to cook the pancetta. 1/4 cup freshly grated Italian pecorino cheese. 1 pound lacinato kale, also called dinosaur or Tuscan kale. I'm botching all these pronunciations, I know it. 4 ounces pancetta, small diced. 1 cup, parentheses, 1/2 inch diced bread cubes, crusts removed. 1/2 cup shaved Italian pecorino cheese, 2 ounces. For the dressing, place the anchovies, garlic, mustard, egg yolks, lemon juice, 1 teaspoon salt and 1/2 teaspoon pepper in the bowl of a food processor fitted with a steel blade. Process for 30 seconds until smooth. With the processor running, slowly pour the olive oil through the feed tube until the mixture emulsifies. Add the grated pecorino and process just until combined. Transfer to a container and refrigerate until ready to use. Wash the kale and spin it dry in a salad spinner. Remove the rib from each leaf. Stack the leaves and slice them thinly, crosswise, as you would coleslaw. Place the kale in a large bowl and toss with enough dressing to moisten. Heat 1 tablespoon of olive oil in a medium 10-inch sauté pan. Add the pancetta and cook over medium heat for 6 to 8 minutes, tossing frequently until browned and crisp. Transfer the pancetta with a slotted spoon to a plate lined with paper towels. Add the bread cubes to the pan. Sprinkle with salt and sauté for 5 to 7 minutes, tossing frequently until evenly browned. Add the pancetta, toasted bread, and shaved pecorino to the kale, and toss with large spoons. Serve at room temperature. Well, I wish some people would have proofread the selected works, and when they saw French words, went, "He can't read French. Let's change it." Join me again next time on another exciting episode of Dramatic Cookbook Readings. Until then, I'm actually not frozen, I'm just